Hello, this is Jordan Knox. This is my second year in the Forehead State Transition and Teaching Program. I'm in a class of working diverse and exceptional learners. And we're in Module 1, discussing culture and community. Just a small Webster definition of culture, the custom, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. Same thing for community, a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. So I want to talk about community and culture just a little bit. As teachers, we are in our own community, being in the building because we have the same goal, same mindset for the most part of trying to make our kids better people and want to see them succeed. So we have all sorts of people under one roof, and it can be considered a community. So that's how I look at community within the school system. Each building, each district is its own community and reflects the community that is in as well. Next, we're going to be looking at some numbers based off the school I work at compared to the state and the district. I want to focus on the school, my school numbers versus the other one. I have those up there just to look at, but for time's sake, I'm going to really focus on how those numbers and categories relate to the school setting I work in. So I currently work at Griffinsdale Wells Alternative School. This is my second year at this school. It's a special education school, very small community, very small population, special needs kids and behavioral kids. It's a K through 8, but I'll be focusing on my elementary side due to the just more participation from the elementary side. I'll make things short about that. I'll be focusing on my third grade kids when we start talking about the testing and whatnot, because I have a true third grade class and it's not a blended class. So let's get started. Just some data right here. The total enrollment of my building on the elementary side, of course, is 36. Percentage of males is 94.4. Percentage of females, 5.6. And before I move forward, I'm going to talk about the impact of this. So at my school, it's very important that we understand that there's a lot of ego-driven things because there's mostly boys in our schools. And yes, there can. Just for that, there is a lot of fighting due to them not knowing how to cope or learn how to deal with their anger in a particular way. So with those amount of men or young men, boys, more or less, we have to be on our toes as a staff because anything can happen at a certain point in time. Me being a male there, I'm, in the teaching profession, there's not that many men teachers, but I feel like at my school, there needs to be more presence of males that'll help with these students, just have better structure and better time to regulate their actions and whatnot. I'm not saying that with the female staff that they don't do good, because some of the guys do better with females than they do men at our school. I'm just saying I think having more male presence will help the majority of our students. I want to focus on the percentage of economically disadvantaged students that are in my building, and that's at 100%. So everybody's at a free and reduced lunch at my school. So we have to be in consideration of a lot of those kids that sometimes they go home hungry, don't eat over the weekend. So we have to be mindful of certain behaviors lead to them just being hungry and just need to meet their hierarchical needs of, they need to eat, they need a place of safety and good shelter. Some of these kids don't have that. I'm going to continue on. African American students, we have 30%, 30.5%. Percentage of white students, 47.22. Percentage of Hispanics, 11.11. And other ethnic groups is 11.11. We don't have any migrant students. ELL students are 5.56. and students with disabilities is at a 94.4. If you look at the numbers, okay, the left side is my building, okay, the middle is the district, and the state is on the very last column. You see how our building is at a 94.4. We are the alternative school, which means students that have certain disabilities, certain behaviors that get sent to our school to help them learn how to cope with those skills. So we focus more on a therapeutic approach rather than academic. Yes, we focus on academic, but our goal as a staff is to mitigate behavior so they can transition back into a regular classroom and so they can have a normal schooling setting. They won't have any seclusion rooms or things of that nature. So it is a little bit different. So even the subject I teach, PE, we do a lot of focus on personal and social development versus physical activity. Yes, we do physical activity, but when something happens, I stop the class and it's a teaching point every day and every time I feel like it's needed. A lot of kids learn through movement, so I don't really have that big a problem, but my main focus in PE is just having good sportsmanship, learning how to win appropriately, learning how to lose appropriately. So, and learning how to work as a team, because when you get into the workforce, you gotta know how to work with other people. So I chose my third grade class, like I mentioned before. That was my true class. I have a true third grade class. It's only 4 kids in there, but these are some of the numbers that are brought to uh, that I found on KSDE. We don't have any ELA, which is surprising compared to the district, the state. Building Math don't have any test scores. I'm gonna have to dig deeper and ask some of the guys at my building about this. And yeah, so I was kind of surprised, but I was surprised but wasn't surprised because I know the type of school setting we're in. We're a therapeutic school, and I'm not sure they focus so much on testing, but I know some testing is required. I'm still fairly new. Educational option. The placement of our students are based off their educational needs as well as disabilities within our building. All our students have IEPs, and we must follow in order to give our students the best learning opportunity. These IEPs are very important because it gives a breakdown of how that student reacts to certain situation, what triggers those behaviors, how to get that kid motivated to learn for the day. So these things helps us as educators within our building try to mitigate those disruptive behaviors, those violent encounters that we may face on a day-to-day basis. On a reflection, based off of last year's experience combined with the information I found on KSDE, it is imperative for me as an educator to focus on social and personal development aspect of the early stages of childhood for my students. I mentioned this before that we focus, the majority of our focus on personal social development and teaching these kids how to cope with their feelings and how to express their feelings rather than lashing out. So it is important. So those are just some of the background, the numbers, and the breakdown of them in my community at Griffinstown Wells and the culture of it. It's a predominantly white school with some diversity, but we have a lot of boys, and so I feel like there's need some more male presence to help these students, to help them get better in the long run. Is that way we can help them integrate back into regular school. So that is my coaching community of Griffinstown Wells Alternative School, and hope you enjoyed it. And here's just my works cited, and thank you very much.